Throughout the trial, Judge Jones would never tip his hand about which way he was leaning on whether intelligent design is science. But science was not the only issue before the court. The climax of the trial would be the judge's ruling on a question stemming from a different line of evidence. When they introduced intelligent design into the classroom, were members of the Dover School Board motivated by religion? If so, that would amount to a violation of part of the First Amendment to the Constitution, the Establishment Clause, which mandates the separation of church and state.
In order to prevail, we needed to prove either that the school board acted for the purpose of promoting religion or that its policy has the effect of promoting religion. It's either purpose or effect, either one.
The Establishment Clause says that Congress cannot pass a law which promotes one religion over another. And that trickles all the way down to any state action, and in this case, the actions of a school board.
But what evidence was there that the school board was motivated by religion? Months before the trial, when Bertha Spar had unpacked the boxes containing the 60 copies of Pandas given by an anonymous donor, she found a clue.
I was directed by the administration to unpack the boxes, count the books, stamp, and number them. In the bottom of the box, I found a catalog. I opened the catalog to see what they had to say about the book in question, and at the very top of the catalog page, it was listed under creation science. This should certainly be a smoking gun and would be a benefit to us somewhere down the road.
This information was handed off to the National Center for Science Education. The NCSE was helping the lawyers who were arguing to keep intelligent design out of Dover High School. Knowing of Pandas and People would be central to the case, Nick Motzke investigated the book.
When the court case was filed and Pandas was adopted in the policy, it became clear that Pandas was going to be the representative of intelligent design for the purposes of this case. And so the history of that book became important, the arguments it made became important, and we undertook to dissect these various aspects in preparation for the case.
Motzke dug into Pandas, examining it page by page, and scouring the internet to see what he could unearth about its history. Rummaging through the NCSE archives one day, Motzke came across a creationist student newspaper from 1981. At the bottom of the front page, he noticed a tiny article with a headline announcing "Unbiased Biology Textbook Planned." And that article mentioned that a man named Charles Thaxton, now a fellow at the Discovery Institute, was working on a book that would present both evolution and creation.
The academic editor was Charles Thaxton, who was the editor of the Pandas book, so it was clear that that ad was referring to the Pandas project. What was interesting is that it talked about the book being about creation and evolution instead of the later terms intelligent design and evolution.
If they could show Pandas started out as a creationist book, that would suggest intelligent design is simply creationism repackaged, and therefore inherently religious. Motzke emailed this information to Eric Rothschild, who immediately issued a subpoena to the publisher of Pandas for any drafts the book went through before printing. In a few months, they received 2 boxes of material. The lawyers sent them to Barbara Forrest, a philosophy professor and author who has been tracking intelligent design for years. She was scheduled to testify in the trial.
Oh my goodness, those 2 boxes contained about 7,000 pieces of paper, and I had to sit down with those documents and just start flipping through them, which is what I did, day and night.
After much digging, she hit pay dirt. Buried in these documents were 2 drafts of Pandas straddling the 1987 case of Edwards versus Aguilard, in which the Supreme Court ruled it unconstitutional to teach creationism in public school science class. One draft was written before the case, and the other revised just after.
In the first 1987 draft, which is the pre-Edwards draft, the definition of creation reads this way. Creation means that various forms of life began abruptly through the agency of an intelligent creator with their distinctive features already intact, fish with fins and scales, birds with feathers, beaks and wings, etc. The same definition in this draft, after the Edwards decision, reads this way. Intelligent design means that various forms of life began abruptly through an intelligent agency with their distinctive features already intact, fish with fins and scales, birds with feathers, beaks, etc. Same definition, just one is worded in terms of creationism, the other one worded in terms of intelligent design.
Everyone said intelligent design is creationism relabeled. Never in our wildest dreams, though, did we think that this would actually be recorded in paper in a way that could be documented in a court case.
And that became probably our best single piece of evidence at trial.
Barbara Forrest's testimony would make a strong case that the Dover School Board was thrusting religion into the classroom. And in comparing the Of Pandas and People drafts, Forrest discovered that the authors had apparently made their revisions in haste.
In cleansing this manuscript, they failed to replace every word properly. I found the word creationists, and instead of replacing the entire word, they just kind of did this and got design proponents with the C in front and the ISTS in the back from the original word.
So the correct term for this transitional form is co-design proponentists. And everyone now refers to this as the missing link between creationism and intelligent design. You've got the direct physical evidence there of a transitional fossil.